what if our whole idea of good sleep has been, well, kind of off? Like maybe it's not just about the number of hours we spend in bed.
Exactly. For, gosh, so long, the focus has almost entirely been on duration. How much sleep are you getting?
Right.
But as we've, really dug into the latest research, it's just crystal clear there are these other and often hidden factors that have a massive impact on our health, our thinking, even how long we live. It goes way beyond just counting sheep or watching the clock.
Okay, I'm hooked.
Yeah.
So our mission for you today, then, is to take a real deep dive into the science of truly restorative sleep. We want to give you some insights, maybe some surprising ones, and definitely some practical strategies, things you can actually use to, well, maybe transform how you think about sleep and how you actually experience it.
Making it genuinely productive. Yeah. For your brain, for your body. We've looked at some fascinating new stuff on sleep regularity, brain health, the whole sleep environment, even expert techniques for, just falling asleep faster.
Okay, let's dive right in then, because this first point, it really might challenge what you've always believed. We've been so obsessed with how much sleep we get, 7 hours, 8 hours.
Right.
But what if when we sleep, that consistent timing, day in, day out, what if that's actually more critical?
It's pretty astonishing, honestly. And it's not just like a theory. There was this huge study, landmark really, in the journal Sleep. They looked at data from nearly 61,000 people.
Wow.
And it showed that your sleep regularity, basically, how consistent your sleep and wake times are, that was a stronger predictor of your overall mortality risk than just the total hours you slept.
Wait, hang on. Stronger predictors.
Yeah.
So you're saying someone who gets, say, a solid 8 hours, but their schedule's all over the place, like early nights, weekdays, then super late nights and sleeping in on weekends.
Yeah, that kind of pattern.
They could actually be at a higher risk for serious things like strokes, heart attacks, even some cancers, compared to someone who maybe doesn't hit 8 hours perfectly every night, but keeps a really consistent schedule.
That's exactly what the research suggests. Those with the most consistent sleep-wake times,
Yeah.
they had up to get this, 48% lower risk of dying from any cause compared to the folks with the most irregular routines.
48%.
I know. It really highlights this thing called social jet lag,
Yeah.
where your internal body clock is just constantly fighting your social schedule. And let's be super clear, this isn't a free pass to like skimp on sleep. Duration absolutely still matters.
Okay, good, because I was about to ask.
Yeah, what this really tells us is that consistency acts like a massive amplifier. It boosts the benefits you get from getting enough sleep.
Ah, okay. So consistency is like the secret sauce then.
Yeah.
But duration is still the main ingredient. Where's the sweet spot for hours?
Exactly. Good way to put it. The study confirmed what we generally know getting consistently under 6 hours, or weirdly, over 9 hours a night, that still bumped up mortality risk.
Right.
So the ideal is usually somewhere in that 7-8 hour range for most adults. But the key takeaway, the really new thing, is how much that consistency amplifies the good stuff. It kind of makes you think maybe public health advice needs a tweak. Focus on consistent schedules just as much as duration.
That makes total sense. Okay, so we've got the timing down. But here's where I get really curious.
Yeah.
What's actually happening inside our heads while we sleep? We used to think the brain just, shut down, powered off.
Flip in a switch.
But you're saying it's actually doing some incredibly important active work, especially during deep sleep. And this is tied to memory. How does that work?
Oh, it's absolutely incredible process. Deep sleep, sometimes called slow wave sleep. It's vital, just essential for forming memories, consolidating them, taking what you learned or experienced during the day and making it stick. Yeah. So poor sleep isn't just, oh, I feel tired. Long term, it's a major risk factor for cognitive problems, including memory loss. And if we want to get into the how, there's this recent study, really cool, in Nature Communications from Berlin. They looked at actual human neocortex tissue. That's the outer layer of the brain, right? Your thinking, cap language, imagination, memory, all that higher level stuff.
So this is like the brain doing its nightly filing and cleanup while we're completely out of it.
That's a perfect way to think about it. During that deep, slow wave sleep, your neocortex isn't just off. It's got this rhythmic electrical activity, these alternating UP states and down states happening about once a second.
Or in down states.
Yeah, think of it like the brain is literally fine-tuning its connections, like optimizing the pathways between brain cells. And here's the magic bit. When it flips from a down state to a UP state, the neocortex becomes super receptive. Like, okay, I'm ready to learn. So if your hippocampus, it's your short-term memory hub, happens to replay a memory right during that receptive UP state window, bam, that memory gets activated much more strongly and gets transferred, basically locked into long-term storage. It gets woven into the fabric of your brain.
Wow, so it's like a perfectly timed data transfer,
Right.
backing up the day's important files. That's incredible. And it's not just memory, right? You mentioned brain plasticity.
Exactly. Deep sleep is crucial for plasticity. That's your brain's ability to adapt, learn new skills, change. And there's also the whole brainwashing thing.
Brainwashing, like literally.
Sort of. It helps clear out metabolic waste products, junk that builds up between brain cells during the day.
Okay.
And this cleaning process seems way more efficient when we're asleep than when we're awake.
Okay, so neglecting sleep is like letting the trash pile up in your brain.
Pretty much. And the consequences go way beyond just feeling groggy. Chronic sleep deprivation is linked to some serious stuff, making depression worse, increasing seizure risk, high blood pressure, migraines. It tanks your immune system, too. It makes you way more likely to get sick. And get this, just one night of totally missed sleep can actually put a healthy person to a pre-diabetic state, metabolically speaking.
One night, seriously.
Seriously, understanding these deep sleep mechanisms, it's huge for potentially finding ways to prevent things like dementia down the line, because we know disrupted deep sleep is a really common and often early sign in dementia patients.
It really puts sleep in a whole new light, all this complex, vital work happening. So if our brain's doing all this heavy lifting, how do we, physically set the stage? How do we make our bedroom the best possible place for this deep, consistent sleep to actually happen?
That's such a critical piece of the puzzle and one we often ignore. Your physical space, your bedroom environment, plays a massive role. Think of it as creating a sleep sanctuary.
A sleep sanctuary. I like that.
And one of the most fascinating elements is temperature. It's not just about comfort. Your body needs to drop its core temperature to initiate and maintain sleep. That ideal temperature, usually around 65 degrees Fahrenheit or 18.3 Celsius.
65? That sounds kind of cold.
It might feel that way initially to some, but it's about physiology. That cool temperature helps your body maintain that slightly lower core temp it needs for deep restorative sleep. Even just a few degrees warmer can genuinely disrupt the whole process.
Okay, so it's a biological trigger, not just preference. Maybe grab an extra blanket if needed, right? And noise. Obviously, nobody sleeps well next to a construction site, but you're saying even low-level noise matters.
Absolutely. Even sounds you think you're sleeping through can subtly nudge you into lighter stages of sleep. It chips away at that restorative quality. So, yeah, make your room as quiet as humanly possible.
Noise-blocking curtains. White noise machine.
Both great ideas. Curtains for outside noise, white noise, or maybe some gentle, non-lyrical music to mask those little inside sounds that might disturb you, which naturally brings us to light.
The screens again, I bet.
Screens are a big one, yes. But it's even more fundamental. Sunlight tells your brain, wake up, make cortisol. Darkness signals, okay, time for melatonin, time for sleep.
Makes sense.
But artificial light, especially the blue light from our phones, tablets, TVs, it actively messes with that cycle. It delays your body's natural melatonin production, making it harder to fall asleep. Studies even show that a tiny amount of light, like just 10 lux, think maybe a dim nightlight down the hall if you're exposed late in the day, can lead to more waking up during the night and less of that crucial slow wave sleep.
10 lux. That's barely anything.
Yeah.
So the phone next to the bed is really fighting biology.
It literally is. The advice is solid.
Yeah.
Keep lights dim before bed. Put screens away at least 30, ideally 60 minutes before you want to sleep. Blackout curtains are fantastic. Or even just a simple sleep mask.
Okay, cool. Quiet, dark. What about the actual bed? Mattress, pillows? Does that stuff really make a difference beyond just basic comfort?
Oh, hugely. Comfort is subjective. Of course, what feels firm to you might be soft to someone else. But research consistently shows that a newer mattress, one that's actually suited to your body and sleep style, can make a dramatic difference in sleep quality.
Right.
Less back pain, less tossing and turning. And pillows. Getting the right loft, the right firmness to keep your spine aligned, crucial. Same with sheets. Finding ones that feel good against your skin, maybe have some cooling properties if you sleep hot. It all adds up.
And then there's the stuff we maybe don't think about as much, like cleanliness and maybe even smells.
Definitely don't overlook those. Washing your bedding regularly, like every couple of weeks, or maybe even weekly if you sweat a lot or have pets sharing the bed.
Guilty?
It's not just basic hygiene. It seriously cuts down on dust mites, allergens, things that can trigger subtle reactions and disrupt sleep without you even realizing it.
Okay, adding wash sheets to the to-do list.
Yeah.
And scents, like lavender.
Yes. Scent can be incredibly powerful for relaxation. Lavender essential oil is the classic example, and studies actually back it up. It can improve sleep quality. But other scents work too, like peppermint, or some people find heliotrope calming. Even, interestingly, the familiar scent of a partner can promote better sleep. It's about creating those subtle cues for relaxation.
Okay, so we've built the perfect sleep sanctuary. It's cool, dark, quiet, comfy, smells nice. But sometimes you lie down and your brain just won't stop thinking. What then?
Ah, yes, the racing mind happens to the best of us. The good news is there are actual techniques, science-backed ones, and consistent habits. The whole package is often called sleep hygiene that can genuinely train your body and mind to wind down and drift off more easily.
Okay, training the brain. I like that. What's considered like a normal amount of time to fall asleep?
That's called sleep latency. And for most healthy adults, it's somewhere in the 15 to 20-minute range. If it's consistently taking you way longer, that could indicate insomnia. But here's the flip side. If you're out like a light in under, say, 10 minutes pretty consistently, that might actually mean you're sleep deprived.
Huh. Falling asleep too fast is a bad sign. Never thought of that. It's a real balancing act.
It really is.
So if we're aiming for that 15, 20-minute sweet spot,
Yeah.
what are some of these techniques? I've heard about one the military uses.
Yes, the military method. It's pretty systematic. You start by consciously relaxing every single muscle in your face, your jaw, your tongue, around your eyes. Let it all go slack.
Okay.
Then drop your shoulders as low as they'll go. Let your arms hang heavy by your sides. Focus on slow, deep breathing, relaxing your chest, your torso. Then work down, relaxing your hips, thighs, calves, feet.
The full body shutdown.
Pretty much. And while you're doing this, picture a calm scene, maybe lying in a canoe on a calm lake or in a black velvet hammock in a dark room. If thoughts pop in, just acknowledge them gently. Say, don't think mentally, and return to relaxing your body in the image.
It sounds intense but thorough. What else?
There's progressive muscle relaxation. Similar idea, but you actively tense a muscle group. First, like clench your fist really tight for about 10 seconds, and then completely release it. Feel that wave of relaxation flow, and you do that systematically. Face, shoulders, arms, torso, legs.
Tense, then release.
Okay. And breathing techniques are powerful too. The 4-7-8 method is very popular. You breathe out completely, making a whoosh sound. Then inhale quietly through your nose for 4 seconds. Hold the breath for 7 seconds. Then exhale slowly through your mouth for 8 seconds, making that whoosh sound again.
4 in, hold 7, 8 out.
Exactly. Repeat that just 3 or 4 times. It really engages your body's relaxation response, the parasympathetic nervous system.
I can feel myself relaxing just hearing about it.
Yeah.
Any weirder ones?
Nah. Well, there's paradoxical intention. It sounds completely backwards, but you actually try to stay awake.
Try to stay awake.
Yep. Lie there calmly, eyes open maybe, and think, okay, I'm just going to stay awake. No pressure to sleep. What it does is reduce that performance anxiety, that stress about not sleeping, which ironically often keeps you awake. By giving up the struggle, you often drift off naturally.
Mind games with your own brain. I love it.
It can be surprisingly effective. Of course, things like peaceful music, guided imagery, mindfulness meditation, those are great options too. The real key is finding what works for you and practicing it.
Okay, so those are techniques for the moment. But what about the bigger picture? The daily habits, that sleep hygiene stuff. You mentioned consistency earlier.
Absolutely crucial. This is where it all ties together. And for listeners who are already pretty informed, let's nail down the why behind some common advice. That consistent schedule. It's not just about bedtime and wake time. It's about fighting that social jet lag we talked about. Even just shifting your sleep by 2 hours on a weekend can mess with your internal clock enough to impact your metabolism, your mood, your immune function all week long. It's a bigger deal than most people realize.
So really sticking to it, even on Saturdays, makes a physiological difference.
A huge one. Then stimulants. We know caffeine and nicotine are bad before bed, but why? Caffeine, for instance, has a half-life of about 5 to 6 hours. That means half of it is still active in your system that long after you drink it. It delays sleep onset, shortens total sleep, and specifically cuts down on restorative stage 2 sleep. So, that rule of thumb. No caffeine for at least 4 to 6 hours before bed. It's based on solid science.
4 to 6 hours.
Okay.
And alcohol. Lots of people have a nightcap, think it helps them unwind?
Yeah, that's a common misconception. Alcohol might make you feel sleepy initially, help you nod off faster, but as your body metabolizes it through the night, it leads to more awakenings, more fragmented sleep, and it particularly disrupts REM sleep, which is
Yeah.
vital for emotional regulation and memory. So, quality takes a nosedive. Same rule applies. Avoid it for 4-6 hours before bed if you want truly good sleep.
So it knocks you out, but it's not good rest.
Got it.
What else is key for hygiene?
Reinforcing that bed-sleep connection, your bed should really only be for sleep and intimacy. No working on your laptop, no watching TV, no scrolling your phone, no eating toast in bed. Train your brain. Bed equals rest. That's classic stimulus control.
Keep the bed sacred. What about naps? Friend or foe?
Can be a friend, but strategically. Keep them short, under an hour is a good guideline, maybe even just 20-30 minutes. And keep them early, before 3 p.m. That way, they give you a boost without stealing too much of your sleep drive needed for nighttime.
Okay, short and early makes sense. And having a routine before bed.
Super important. A consistent wind-down routine signals to your body, okay, time to prepare for sleep. Could be 15 minutes of gentle stretching, some of those breathing exercises we talked about, maybe a warm bath. And here's a cool fact. Take it 1-2 hours before bed. The subsequent drop in your body temperature actually helps trigger drowsiness.
Ah, so it's the cooling down after the bath that does it, not just the warm water relaxing you.
Exactly. Or maybe just sipping some caffeine-free herbal tea. Whatever it is, make it consistent.
What about exercise and food right before bed?
Regular exercise is fantastic for sleep, generally, but try not to do really strenuous stuff within about 4 hours of bedtime. It can raise your core body temperature and make it harder to wind down. Diet-wise, avoid big, heavy meals late at night. If you are hungry, a small, light snack might be okay, something with tryptophan like warm milk or a few almonds, and definitely limit fluids in the evening to avoid those midnight bathroom runs.
Right. Okay, but what if you do all this? You're in your sanctuary, you've done your routine, and you're just lying there, staring at the ceiling. It's been 20 minutes, maybe more. What's the best move?
Get out of bed. Seriously, don't just lie there getting frustrated.
Get up. Won't that wake me up more?
It seems counterintuitive, I know. But lying there awake just reinforces the connection between your bed and frustration or wakefulness. Go to another room, do something quiet, calming, and frankly, kind of boring. Read a dull book under dim light, no screens, maybe listen to quiet music, do some deep breathing. Only go back to bed when you actually feel drowsy again. It's about breaking that negative cycle.
Okay, break the cycle
Yeah.
and resist looking at the clock. Right?
Oh, absolutely. Clock watching is poison for sleep. It just ramps up the anxiety, the mental calculations. Oh no, I only have X hours left. Turn the clock away from you or cover it up. And one last thing, even after a really bad night, try your best to stick to your normal daytime routine the next day. Don't cancel plans or skip activities. Avoiding things actually reinforces the insomnia. Push through gently.
Wow. We have covered a lot today. Seriously unpacked it. From, the sheer power of just going to bed and waking up at the same
The
time
regularity piece is huge.
to the incredible work our brains are doing during deep sleep, cleaning house, and filing memories, and then all these practical ways you can actually shape your environment and your habits.
Yeah, it really drives home that sleep isn't just passive downtime, is it? It's this active, incredibly vital process. And we have more control than we might think.
Absolutely. So maybe this raises a question for you listening right now. What's just one thing? Maybe one surprising thing you heard today that you're ready to try, maybe starting tonight, to really take that deep dive into better sleep yourself.
Because the core message, I think, is pretty clear now. Sleep is active, it's vital, and it's profoundly influenced by regularity, by your environment, and by these specific habits. It really isn't just about clocking enough hours. It's about getting the right kind of sleep, consistently, consciously.
So maybe think about this. If sleep truly is your brain's nightly reset button, its repair crew, its memory architect, just imagine how could optimizing just one of these things we talked about, maybe it's the temperature, maybe it's putting the phone away earlier, maybe it's that consistent wake-up time even on Sunday, how could that fundamentally change how clear you feel tomorrow, your energy all day, maybe even your health trajectory years down the line? What potential is just sitting there waiting for you to unlock just by giving your sleep the deep dive it really deserves?